Maybe? Can you hear us? Can you see us? I gotta fix
Papa,
my
can
hair.
you hear me?
Papa, can you hear me?
I was about to run down some fun Apollo facts, so I'm glad I had to stop that.
Oh my gosh. Well, of course we come back from,
Yep.
just for you, Federico. Just to wait for
Just-
you.
yeah.
And we know if we have tech issues that you can fix them.
You know, I feel like it's been a while since we've had, like, some tech issues.
Oh, it's been a
other than
while.
our lagging. I'm sure we'll
Yeah,
lag
honestly.
at some point, and then the stream will, like,
Besides everything I say being an issue. Yeah.
fail, and...
And then we had a mic problem.
We
then
had
we
a
had
mic problem,
a stream
and
problem.
then it was a stream problem, and now...
It's because we're back in
Jesus.
Ogden.
I know, yeah. It's because we took it. It's the pod's mad at us because we took some time off and delayed.
It's like when you leave a cat at home for a couple days, they just get really pissed off at you. Yeah.
Or for like a week with a babysitter named Brandon.
Hey, we had a great time.
I know.
Thank you very much.
You're Winter's best buddy. What is this? Ooh, got some
Yeah.
cinnamon
look at that
whiskey in
face.
there. Let me taste some cinnamon whiskey.
It's cinnamon whiskey, but also has vanilla caramel in it, along with the apple cider.
That's good. That's very
Oh,
fall.
it sounds very festive.
Yeah. Oh. Your screen's messed up. Hold on. Why is your output showing? I don't want this to be visible. How do I get rid of this sidebar? I thought I was in full screen mode. Oh God. Jeez. Why?
Hey, Brandon, call tech support.
Hey, yeah, tech support.
Hey, Federico?
Hey, who knows how to work Skype? How do you get that sidebar?
It's funny because
off?
I still show up on the YouTube link and I see your video on Skype.
Okay,
Oh,
but
you want the sidebar off?
I want the
I think that's
sidebar
my
off.
issue, isn't it?
No, that's on our end because it's.
Oh, okay,
it's,
thank God.
It's seeing our side, and I clicked this. I don't.
You click the open button.
And I don't want this. I don't want it. I just want to see.
you just want to see Brandon?
Oh no.
Don't we all?
Oh no. Enter. I want full screen mode. I don't want to see us.
All right. The user ID for TeamViewer is 185-372.
Oh my God! Now these things are happening.
Yeah, how about that ellipsis at the top of the?
Yeah, I tried
on the
that
left.
as well over here.
I tried that. Oh Jesus.
All right. Well, why don't we just scoop Brandon over?
There should be a way to. You should be able. A way to. I mean, I'm in.
That's not it. Settings. We're having a good time over here, folks.
Oh my God! I feel like. I just don't know how to use the technology.
Yeah. I mean, to respond to your mom.
I did it.
There we
I
go.
found
We
it.
got it.
I found it. Oh,
Oh, thank God.
It was showing up the people like that we call and that type of stuff on
yeah,
Skype.
like our
Really, it's just
Skype
Brandon.
history.
We don't Skype anybody,
We
but
just want to see Brandon. All right.
Full view.
Okay. Well, I'm good. I'm glad it looks good on the other side of the ocean.
you're good.
You're
We're
good.
just going
You're
with
good.
it.
it's fine for now. Whatever.
We'll deal with the gray.
All
on the
right.
side.
Brandon, you want to count down to...
Hey, I want a countdown. I'm not going to count down.
Okay,
Right.
ready? We'll
Yeah,
start the
I am.
show in 5, 4...
Hey folks, welcome to yet another episode of Cosmos with Cosmos, where today we're talking about the 50th anniversary of Apollo 17.
Woo!
And I'm Brandon.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Liz.
Excellent. And yeah, so it's the 50th anniversary of Apollo 17 today, the day we're recording it, December 4th. But of course, this is just the date it launched. So we'll have a couple days to go throughout this kind of show and talk all about the last mission so far to the moon.
The last Apollo.
Yeah, so to kind of get us going, of course, we want to talk about what we're drinking. And so in our pre-show, Liz took a drink, and she had just a glorious face of deliciousness when she tasted it. So what are you having?
Well, that's Mike's drink.
Yeah, it's my second
Oh.
drink.
Oh.
Oh boy.
So, what about first drink?
Well, list off your first and second drinks.
Well, it's the same as yours.
Okay.
So what are we calling it?
Lunar libations.
Yep, and it's just gonna cover both my drinks. But
Oh, okay.
because I rarely name the second drink. So, all right. So for the first drink, Lunar Libation, basically, it has, what's it have? Apple cider, vodka, um, caramel syrup, and ginger beer, also known as a what?
A caramel apple mule.
Caramel apple mule. Yep.
Caramel apple mule.
Yes, and in my second drink, I have no name for it, but anyway, it is
The drink with no name.
drink with no name.
Let's call it Fix It With Duct Tape.
Fix it with duct tape. Yep. All right, that's not Brandon's name. All right, so it's got cinnamon whiskey, apple cider, but it also has I put the caramel and the vanilla syrup in there.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah, it's nice. It's
Very
sweet.
nice.
Yep.
It's good. What do you got, Brandon?
So I've tried to recreate my favorite drink of all time.
Okay.
And so, I know what we have in here. I'm going to pronounce things incorrectly. I was back in Arizona, and Arizona has a better variety of liquor than Utah could ever hope for.
Shocking.
So, right? So I try to pick up some ingredients. We have some, I don't know how to say this particular scotch, Laproig, 10-year scotch.
Okay.
Sure. Amera Averno Siciliano, and Liqueur 43. And together they make what I'm calling the Passenger 17.
Ooh.
Because the actual drink's called Passenger 57, so we'll call it 17 for
There you
Apollo
go.
17.
Hold it up higher because it's a little out of view. There we
And
go.
my second drink is called Passenger 18, and it's the exact same thing.
Nice, nice. What is Liquor 44?
43, I have no idea.
Okay.
I didn't know
It's the
what most
43rd
of the stuff
liquor.
was.
We're
I
gonna
just
pick
know
Brandon up off
It
the
tastes
floor.
good together.
it tastes fantastic together. No, yeah, I've had a banana today, and these are extremely strong.
Oh,
Yeah, I had a tuna
This-
sandwich. That's it.
This might be a black hole episode, but we'll hope for the
boy.
best.
Hold on.
Yeah.
By the way, send me the recipe for that drink.
Yeah.
Jack has apple cider, or he made a mulled apple with cranberry cider. And his house smells great now. And my mom has a classic Earl Grey with lavender.
And I bet it's hot.
Hot. She said it's
Naturally.
hot. It's hot. I drank most of her tea when we were there. Luckily, she said she had a second box because I was just that Earl Grey with lavender is good.
That's a good dollar. Prory, yes. Federico, it's a scotch. That's all I know about it. It's delicious. It smells like smoke from a distance.
It smells like
Okay.
smoke from a distance. All right. I like the smell of smoke
Especially from a distance.
from a distance. Yes. All right, Brandon, take it away.
All right. So, of course, we have some social media stuff for us to follow, for y'all to follow, because we follow it already. We're on Twitter at Drinking Cosmos, the Insta at Cosmos with Cosmos. Rate and follow us on the iTunes and everywhere else you listen and get your podcast, because that way we get more people and we get more people in the comments to, probably make fun of us. It's great.
We need more people.
To make fun of us. We do.
Yes. All right.
To make fun of us, yes.
We do.
I always need that.
Yes.
And of course, some of our regular guests, they do some fantastic work that we like to promote. Number one, sister of the podcast, Katie. You can find her artwork on Wildixia on Etsy. Really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then also common listener, Ron, MrProctorShow.com, which is a fantastic address. And of course, Jack, he of the Apple Cider at RollingBluffsPlanetarium.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're in Council Bluffs, Iowa, or what? I can't remember the city that's right across the border in Nebraska. But anyway, if you're in that area,
Lincoln?
check them out. No,
That's all we only know. Lincoln, Nebraska.
That's only one of the
There's-
Nebraska I know.
it's only one city. Maybe Omaha. I don't know. Anyway, rules.
Yeah, so there's also, not yet. There's also one other thing that we create, and that is the shots.
The shot.
These are quick 5 to 10 minute segments on specific subjects. We each take shots before we give it, and it's one of my favorite things I've ever done. So check that out. It's a lot of fun.
And we got to record some
So
more soon,
now-
just FYI.
of course.
Was that
We
Liz?
need to record some more soon.
Next weekend.
Maybe next weekend.
I'll take a shot to that. All right. So yes, like Mike said, we do have some rules for the show, of course. Anytime we hear a puppy bark, take yourself a drink. Are we expecting any packages today?
One already came today. The only one I know of
Excellent.
coming
Okay.
today.
That doesn't stop them from barking though. They'll bark at
That's
leaf.
true. That's true. That's true.
All right, so if there's a bark, take a drink. If anyone of us makes a Star Wars reference, take a drink, which we've been doing pretty good on recently.
Uh-huh.
or a Lord of the Rings reference, which may be tricky because I just watched a special feature Two Towers, so it's like fresh in my head right now.
Oh boy. Well, whenever you are not on assignment and you can join us, the Lord of the Rings references do get out of control.
They do.
We're gonna do a Tolkien's universe next year. Brandon's probably gonna be on assignment for that one.
Well, we'll have to schedule it when he's here.
I'll be like in Germany or something. I'm still gonna call in. Like, no, I'm not missing that one. Hamburg can wait. All right. So now let's get into the podcast, and of course, Apollo 17, the last mission so far to the moon. So before we go straight up and talk about the launch date and what happened on the actual mission, I kind of thought it'd be interesting, because this is what I love, to give some context behind the last mission and why it ended up becoming the last mission.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, this all happens under Richard Nixon. And I say all because that's when Apollo 11 through 17 occurred. Most of the legwork was done by Kennedy and Johnson beforehand, as far as the budget, the political motivation, everything like that. The will, the clout even. So Nixon just showed up and took all the credit, which makes a lot of sense.
Of course he did.
But he was also, to be fair, a really big fan of space and especially the astronauts. So in his 1970 inauguration, he called out space 4 different times, which is a big deal for your inauguration, including this quote, which I'm going to give my best or worst Nixon impression of.
Oh, man.
As we explore the reaches of space, let us go to new worlds together. Oh, that was bad. Not as new worlds to be conquered, but as a new adventure to be shared.
It's not bad.
That's a crook.
It's not bad. That's not bad. That was pretty good.
In places, there was. I mean, he even said bad, but that one little bit, you lost.
Just
it.
on that one word.
To be conquered. That's a selling point right there.
Why do we always have to conquer new worlds? Can't we just?
That's why I said not as new
worlds
worlds to be
and
conquered, but as new adventures to be shared. Like, that's actually a really powerful line. Had Nixon actually stuck to the space program, but we can do that in a different podcast. So in any case, he was a big fan. He tried to go watch the Apollo 11 launch in person, but ultimately, because things might be delayed, as tends to happen, he ended up watching it back in D.C. Anytime he got to meet astronauts, he would do that to great fanfare, take them out to dinners, events. Even before they landed on the moon, he would consistently do that. But he liked to make things, quote, a presidential event, not a NASA event. So, yes, I think he did actually enjoy space. I think it was the Earthrise from Apollo 8 was hung up on his Oval Office, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
But it seems for the most part, he was using NASA's success to, launch his own success.
Right.
Which they all did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. So with this, Nixon being a fan of space and we having just landed on the moon, how does Apollo 17 just a few years later suddenly stop and become the last mission that we sent? So this actually goes before Apollo 11. 1968, there was a post-Apollo advisory group headed by Thomas Paine, then NASA head. And so it was decided even before Apollo 11 launched that the missions would be limited. That has a lot of things to do with, number one, budget,
Russia.
but also budgets. But Russia as well, kind of. But also, like a month before this group met, there was a Tet offensive in Vietnam.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the entirety of Apollo's budget over this 10-year span was $25 billion. But that same exact amount was being spent every 10 weeks in Vietnam.
Of course.
Of course it was. Of course. America.
Yeah.
Wars come first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so of course I thought, well, if we could save ourselves 5 weeks in Vietnam in the budget, let's do that. Apollo was essentially canceled even before Apollo 11 launched.
Oh, wow.
One of the reasons they gave is, especially after Apollo 1 and then later Apollo 13, is, well, if it's actually dangerous, why send people? Which you think they could say the same thing about fucking Vietnam. But hey.
Yeah, people are dying in Vietnam.
Yeah, but America.
America.
We gotta make the whole world America.
Yeah. And later on, if we have time, we can always go through the Space Task Force group, which was headed by Spiro Agnew, which is a great deep dive, but that's a much deeper dive.
Well, we do have an hour, so.
True. So just a few months after Apollo 11, the decision was made to basically cancel Apollo after Apollo 17. And I say
why
Apollo,
on an
but
odd
really
number, though?
lunar.
Couldn't they make it on an even number?
Lunar Apollo missions.
I know, right? 18.
Oh, not lunar, not a.
Yeah, because we still had Apollo Soyuz and then the Skylab, which was launched off of Saturn as well.
Okay.
And of course, we were still
people
planning.
jumping around.
Yeah, we were still planning for multiple Apollo missions, 18 and 19, and you can go see those rockets in Huntsville and Kennedy Space Center, and I believe one just inside the visitor center of the Marshall Space Center in Mississippi. So they're still hanging around.
Just there, just like, we were gonna go to the moon, but didn't.
Yeah. Not to mention the most expensive museum piece in history in the Smithsonian, the second Skylab that's supposed to be flight hardware, but was never launched, so they made it a museum piece. So now you can walk through it, and it only costs a couple $2 billion to do it.
Oh, cool. I mean,
Right.
could we not? I mean, I
right.
guess the technology's old, but
You know that
use
couple
it?
$1 billion, though? That's 4 of these new bombers we rolled out this week, which cost $500 million each.
But okay, honestly, that's not bad
America.
for a bomber like that.
Anyway,
All right.
I'm gonna drink to that. Okay. So through all those decisions, which took many different people, many different reports and task groups to get through, ultimately ended it at Apollo 17 to save money and quote unquote save lives, which, Vietnam, fuck
Yeah.
off.
Federico has a good question. Was the public opinion really into space exploration, or other topics, Vietnam, social problems like racism, were more important than a feudal space race?
All right. So only one time in history was approval for the space program above 50%, and that was like a month after Apollo 11. Since then, even during the height of the Apollo, it is still hovering right under 50%, and especially after 13 and the accident in Apollo 1, it plummeted. So the public, they have a skewed view, the U.S. public, a skewed view on how much the space program costs. So you can go back and look at reports that they will ask to the general public, how much of a percentage of the federal budget do you think NASA has? And it's consistently, people will say 15, 20, 25%
When it's
of
less
the
than a
federal budget.
percent.
It's less, it's less than half of 1%. And that's been consistent since 1969.
I mean, and I think that's where, in this country at least, we have a marketing / communication problem issue with space exploration. And I don't think people even realize, and we did an episode about this where we talked about it in an episode, just like how much of the shit that we currently use in our daily life and the advancement of our society came from the space program, from space exploration,
and
from all that shit.
And the communication of space exploration is also a little, not convoluted, but difficult as well. Because, for example, when Artemis launched, it was a huge deal, front page news, as if front page matters in 2022. But it was all over the news and websites, things like that. When when NASA hit, the asteroid, it was news for a long time as well. But it's the big events that get the headlines, and the meticulous details get lost as far as budget, because people will see, wait a minute, this Artemis launch cost over, what was it, $8 billion? That's not, where those $8 billion over a damn near decade at this point.
Yeah.
And like Mike just said, well, those bombers cost $500 million each, so what the hell?
Yeah. I think the problem with the American public opinion is that a lot of it is based on the, we have ADD as a country. It's like, what's happening right now? We want instantaneous results. We want, it's like that, what's happening, except the I think space exploration has always been kind of more of an abstract thing that people don't really, they don't have that personal investment in, like, say, Vietnam, where it's like people's sons are going overseas to get killed in a war that, isn't our war, and we really have nothing to do with it, and was pointless for us to even be there.
Yeah, so again, 25 billion over from 1961 through 1969 versus 10 weeks in Vietnam. Um, but it's highlighted in the news, so people assume it costs a significant amount of money, which it does, but not compared to the military.
Yeah.
Likewise, other social problems like racism. One of my favorite poems, oddly enough, is Whitey on the Moon. And this was a famous poem right before Apollo 11 was launched. And they're going up about all these social problems that, colored people are having in the United States, whereas Whitey's going to the moon. They can't feed themselves. They can't go to proper schooling. They can't, but yet Whitey's going to the moon.
But hey, yeah.
But again, it kind of seems like you're attacking the wrong segment of the government here. Yes, we can cut and improve many different areas, but as far as space is concerned, even in 1969, it was still, as you saw with Vietnam, an insignificant amount compared to what they're spending elsewhere.
Right.
So you can do two things. You can improve the social status of many people here in this country and explore the cosmos at the same time. It's very possible.
Right. Federico says he doesn't think this is a U.S. only problem, that that the European funds to space is negligible as well. So, but we can only give our perspective though, Federico.
Right. I mean, I absolutely love what ESA is able to do with, admittedly, not insignificant funds, but negligible funds, honestly, compared to the rest of the EU.
Hey, Brandon.
But yeah,
this is great.
Apollo 17. All right.
Yeah. No.
Are you getting us back on track?
I got like 5 minutes ago. I wanted to. Hey, who are the astronauts, Brandon?
All right, we're getting back on track, everybody. Apollo 17.
The first astronaut was Alan Shepard in the United States, of course, and then all right, so Apollo 17 astronauts. Thank you. I was kind of getting excited there. So the captain was Gene Cernan. He commanded Apollo 10 and completed every task on that mission except for landing on the moon. So he orbited the moon. Mm-hmm. He separated from the module. They got, I forget, extremely close to the moon itself. And to the point where Houston actually limited how much fuel they put in the vehicle so they couldn't go rogue and actually land.
Because I would do that.
Yeah,
I'd be like, we got a little juice. Let's
do this.
Let's head on down there.
Yeah. So he checked every box. And in fact, he turned down being on the crew of Apollo 16 so he could command Apollo 17.
Right, which was a gamble. Because there was no real, it wasn't definite that Apollo 17 was even going to fly. So,
anytime you turn down the spot. Yeah. And there's also internal politics, especially in the 60s, with the astronaut office, as far as if you turn something down, or maybe they had some kind of agreement, under the table, things like that. Mm-hmm. But yes, it's always risky.
Yeah.
So that was the commander. And up next, we have the command module pilot. This is the role that Michael Collins had on Apollo 11, where you stay in the command module, go around the moon all by your lonesome, while the other two go and frolic on the moon.
I mean, it sounds nice to just have that time and space by yourself, a little me time orbiting the moon, but also kind of shit, because it's like, I want to walk on the moon.
Yeah, that's what I'd want.
Yeah, I want to walk on the moon.
Michael Collins has a great book. I think it was called Carrying the Fire, where he kind of explains the mentality behind, being left behind and what would happen if the other two died and things like that. So it was an interesting perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, so also fun fact, Ronald Evans would go on to serve on the Apollo-Soyuz mission and the shuttle program.
Oh, okay.
So that's...
Good for him.
I think one other person could say they were on the shuttle program after walking on the moon, so that's impressive.
Yeah.
Young. It was John Young.
And finally...
Okay.
Yeah, didn't he pass 91?
Oh, Evan? You talking about Evans?
Yeah.
He passed in 1990, I think. But John Young was the other astronaut that went to the moon.
Young.
And then went to the shuttle.
In fact, he... well, it might have been Young, but he actually piloted the shuttle as well. First mission.
Oh, that's cool.
We can talk about John Young in the Hangover as well, because he has a great history with the shuttle program. All right, and then we have Harrison Jack Schmitt. And what I will say about Jack is that he was the first trained scientist to land on the moon.
Mm-hmm. A geologist.
A geologist, as a matter of fact.
Yep, from Harvard.
Which it makes sense to send a geologist to the moon, where you're collecting moon samples.
Yeah, and the science portion of NASA was really pushing for scientists to go to the moon since basically Apollo 12. Like, hey guys, we just need to actually get stuff done.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, what's the point in sending
Yeah.
all these military Air Force guys and not send a scientist when
Right.
the whole point is to kind of do
And
science and explore
I guess
what's
it's
going on there?
kind of the opposite of Armageddon. Like, it's easier to send an astronaut and train them to do oil drilling. But in this case, scientists is a little more refined, I think. But in any case, when it was revealed that Apollo 17 was going to be the last Apollo mission, he was rushed to the front of the line. Like, he was trained to be a backup on Apollo 15, but they assumed they would have, 18 and 19 after the fact. Nope. So he was pushed to the front when that was revealed.
Okay, cool.
Who was
And he was
the
also
who was the
right.
unlucky astronaut he replaced?
Oh, I forget his name. I think he was another experimental pilot. I forget his name though.
Yeah, because what they would do is if you were what was it, the backup crew for 14, you're going to be the crew for 18.
Yeah, they had a rotating.
They had a rotating
kind of
thing. So
Yeah.
And we met
And-
Harrison Schmidt
we did.
at a planetarium conference.
He said it was the
excellent.
honor of his life to meet me and Liz.
You guys are better than walking on the moon.
What better than a little stroll on the moon? No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. But we did meet him.
We did.
It was really cool.
That's pretty neat.
Oh, Federico said someone might say geology is really not science. Who would say
Was it
that?
observation?
Yeah, but you could still do. Okay, all right.
All right, so those are the astronauts. And now we get to the launch, which happened 50 years ago today.
Wow.
Today's the 4th, right?
The 4th.
Okay. All right. So.
Oh, sorry,
December?
not 50 years ago today. 50 years ago in 3 days.
Yes, on the 7th.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
All
I got
right.
excited. I got
Okay,
excited.
Well, still, 50 years ago,
So on Wednesday.
the last
Yep.
mission to the moon launched.
Yeah. So.
I had nothing more to say after.
Okay, I thought you were about to expound. On
No,
something
I
important.
have no grand, poetry.
When did it launch?
Oh, it's from Big Bang Theory. Is his quote that geology is not really science. Okay, we got you, Federico.
Yeah, it launched on the 7th, but it launched at night.
It was the first night launch.
It was the first night launch for the Apollo missions, right? So
Crewed Apollo missions, yeah.
yeah, so it launched at basically 6:30 in the morning for Italy, and let me do some math. All right, so 10:30 for us here in Ogden, well in Utah. So that was on. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was 10:30 p.m. So it was at night for us here in Utah, but just barely.
Yeah, I would have night launches are amazing, but to see a Saturn launch at night, oh, that's the dream. Or I guess an SLS launch at night now. Hey, that's the dream.
Hey.
Yeah, so it was delayed 3 hours after a launch sequencer failure, and that's basically just ensuring that all the systems are working properly. So you want
Nominal.
to make sure that's working. Yeah, nominal. Thank you for the correct nomenclature. And of course, launch from pad 39A, which is the famous launch pad at Kennedy Space Center where he launched all the crewed flights to the moon.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and now it's the SpaceX launch pad. So they
Oh.
bought that out or borrowed it out for a number of years. I'm not sure.
Is it gonna
I
get a blue
can
check on it?
I can disassociate SpaceX at this point from us because it's Glenn Shotwell's business at this point, and Shotwell is just a fabulous head of SpaceX.
Okay.
She's great.
Okay. All right. Good
But in
to
any case, the flight to the moon was pretty smooth. They only had one launch correction out of 4 planned, and it lasted for like a minute. So basically, they drew the rocket perfectly.
Wow, nice. Is this was this mission like the one that had really no issues? Like other missions had some issues, but then this one is the only one that didn't have really any.
I mean, there were
kind of,
small issues, but
nothing consequential. It was just
No, I mean,
some floating washers here and there, and that was about it.
oh, jeez, I forgot about that. What mission was that? That had the floating washer.
Well, I think
And
this
they-
one
it
they
was
saw some
all of
floating.
them.
All of them had floating
They all did?
washers.
All had
but-
floating washers.
That's fantastic. Yeah, so it was a smooth launch, and Liz can tell us the place that it landed at, and she can pronounce it correctly too.
It landed at where did it land on? I will look at the notes to read it, because clearly I know my stuff. Is it that one right there? No, this one right here.
Yeah, where it says location.
Oh, it's just Taurus Litro. Hey, Taurus, Katie. That's where it landed. Well, wasn't this landing unique? This spot was unique versus the other landing
Well, yeah, I
sites?
mean, they all landed in different places. I don't know. They landed up there at and this is it. By the way, it's in the Sea of Serenity, is where
Mare Serenitatis.
Sure. Say it with confidence.
Say it with confidence.
Say it with confidence. I mean,
Sea of
but this
Serenity.
That
was
should be the motto of this show. Say it with confidence.
they wanted to land in the Highlands.
The Highlands.
The Highlands, so higher up than the regular.
There can be only one.
Scotland.
Highlands.
Thank you.
Okay.
Saying that.
But they also wanted to land somewhere where they thought that the rocks were older than I think Apollo 14 or 15's landing site.
Yeah.
So that's why they chose that location.
Okay.
And Apollo 17 as well
Or one of
had
the
the
reasons.
benefits of being, the sixth thing to land on the moon. And so they had more experience, they were more confident, so they could pick a more tricky location out. Similar to Perseverance on Mars, you could pick a little more tricky location because we're better at landing.
And
they landed.
and the wheel and like technology, or just knowing what to like it was like something where like the first Apollo mission, it was like they were off target by they didn't land on target and they were off by whatever. But this one, it's
Right.
like they were doing all kinds of like gliding around in order, like crazy
Yeah.
maneuvers in order to actually land pretty
And
much
they-
on the target that they wanted to.
And they were close. They were within, I think, 652 meters
Yeah,
of where they wanted
versus
to
like
land.
miles off.
Right, yeah. It wasn't as dramatic as Neil's landing when they had like 30 seconds left of fuel before he had to abort.
The first one, you gotta kind of
Yeah.
have a little.
You had to
drama
come in
with it.
hot in the first one.
Yeah, you gotta come in hot.
Well, this one, this was the first mission that I think did not have the free flight return. So if there were issues early on, that they could have, and all the others, they could just go off and the orbit would bring them back to Earth and they'd be able to land. They didn't have that with this one.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, they took some chances with this one.
Well,
Hey,
why
it's the
not?
last time. Go for it.
Yeah, balls to the
What's
wall.
the worst that could happen?
Yeah, right.
But yes, they eventually did land on the moon very successfully, no issues, at 2:54 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 8:54 in Italy. Or for you record keepers, 19:54:58 UTC on December 11th.
Wow, Merry
I like
Christmas.
So let's say you land on the moon and you get your EVA suit on and you step foot. Like, what's the first thing you think of
Oh God,
when you step outside?
I would say something just stupid and punny.
No, what's the first thing you think of? That's the question, right?
Yeah, think of. Like, obviously, we would say something like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't think anybody can answer this question
Without
Unless
stepping
they-
on the moon.
unless they
That's
actually do it. And
Yeah, so I think at least me and Liz, Mike would have something eloquent to say, but me and Liz, we would do what Alan Bean said in Apollo 12 when he jumped off the ladder, because it's kind of a big jump. He goes, "Well, that may have been a small step for Neil, but it was a big jump for me."
First off, I would totally jump off the ladder.
But you had to at
you
Apollo
have
12.
to. You have
Well, no,
to
you
do
literally had to.
Oh.
It was a big gap at
Oh,
the first
okay.
couple
Yeah.
missions before they fixed it up.
But even if the ladder goes all the way down, I'm gonna do a little jump. And then I'll fall on my face. But
Podcast mom goes, the first thought would be, "Don't leave me."
Can you build a little like moon castle with the regolith? Just build a little
I think
Well-
it's a great
castle?
hangover
What-
question.
Okay. Yes.
Well, probably not. Long story short.
Oh, all right.
All right, there we go. Don't need it for the hangover. Let us continue.
Going to the first day on the moon. So, of course, you want to get out of the lander, which I think was called America, because why not? Challenger was the service module, and then America was a descent.
Okay.
So they get out, and they get everything ready. And as they're hammering things into the ground, setting up experiments, Gene Cernan, the commander, well, he accidentally knocks a piece of fender of the rover off with his hammer, and he broke some of it off.
That's what I would do. I would totally break something
Yes.
by accident.
Yeah, and they kind of need that fender.
Yeah, because, those rovers, they kick up a lot of regolith, a lot of dust.
Oh, a significant amount.
And that shit apparently gets everywhere and into everything. And it's not like normal Earth dust. It's like jaggedy and like
real jaggedy,
horrible.
Yeah. Get your drinks ready.
All right.
Maybe that's why Anakin hates sand. Okay. We don't really do many prequel quotes here, so that prequel references.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, your mom's. Yes, so there was a Captain America.
A Commander America.
Nope,
Commander,
we're going to go with Captain because he retired.
Perfect.
Retired from the Navy with the rank of Captain.
So Gene Cernan is Captain America?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yep.
And
he is Captain America.
And Gene was a very big ladies' man, even to his late years.
All right.
Because I think his pickup line. What was it?
Oh God.
What was his pickup line? It was something like, "Want to talk to the last guy that walked on the moon?" Like literally, that was it.
Oh.
Oh God.
So in any case, that was the guy that broke the fender. And Liz, what was that at first fixed with?
Duct tape.
Duct tape.
Because duct tape fixes everything. Duct tape and some old maps they weren't using.
Yeah.
Right. So the issue with the duct tape, because apparently they never worked in outreach before, they did double-sided duct tape. So the regolith got caught in the tape and it just stopped working.
Why would you use double? Okay.
I don't know. So they eventually put it on with the map and put the duct tape around it, and it worked okay for the most part. But it allowed them to use the rover quite a bit.
Well, they needed to, right? They had the longest EVA
distance-wise, yeah.
Distance-wise for this mission.
Yeah, I think the longest they went out was 4.7 miles away from the lander, which is at the very limits where it was considered quote-unquote safe, because if something broke down, you have to walk back.
Right, and they only had a limited amount of oxygen.
5 miles, yeah, in your tiny oxygen
I mean, you
tank
could hop, though. Could you hop faster than walking?
Because
you can just
Yeah, you don't actually walk on the moon. You hop.
Yeah, hop. Yeah.
You can go see those videos on YouTube of the astronauts hopping and consistently falling down. It's adorable, especially when it's sped up.
So like that music that's like the comedy music.
The Benny Hill.
That's a Duel of... Brandon did the Duel of Fates theme.
No, that wasn't Duel of Fates.
No,
that was Benny Hill.
Benny Hill.
You did doot-doot-doodaloo. That's Duel of Fates.
But then the last beat is.
All right, well, I count it.
No,
yeah.
It's not. I'm not counting that one. I'm not drinking to it.
Oh my God, this is like Vanilla Ice trying to describe how he wasn't.
See, they do dun 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 dun.
See, there's more inflection here.
So what happened on day 2? Because day 2 is kind of the big day as far as the science is concerned.
Okay. Did they use that experiment that didn't work before, the heat, or I don't know. You continue. You lead it. I don't know what I'm talking about.
All right. So I was looking through the transcripts. Thank you. I was looking through the transcripts, and this line kind of made me giggle, like they did as well. So they were trying to park the rover, but it was at a steep incline of 20 degrees, and so they were kind of having issues getting out of the rover. And so Jack Schmidt says, "You want some help getting off?" Laughs. Like you can see it in the transcripts. It does say parentheses laughs. So that kind of made me happy.
I saw that in the notes and I was like, okay, got to know some context here because this is.
There we go. So we had 2 big discoveries, we can call it, on day 2. The first one was at the what do I want to call it? The Geographic Site number 6, it's called, where they find some kind of orange dust on the moon.
Ooh, okay.
Which is weird because you look at the moon, it's not orange. Right. So they get very excited about this thing. There's orange stuff on the moon here.
Yeah, and they were thinking of volcanic activity.
Oh no! Schmidt, he thought it was going to be like the discovery of the mission because he thought it was from oxidation, like you have on Mars.
Oh, okay.
And that's what it was. And so
That'd be a huge
that
discovery,
was
yeah.
his initial thought going up to it, and that would have meant that oxygen, what form is that oxygen? Is it water? You know, that type of thing.
Okay.
And so, but it turns out it was something else. And I thought Brandon was going to say what it was.
It was volcanic glass.
It was volcanic glass.
From it was like
From underground, man.
Yeah, what was it called though? Like a fire
volcano.
spout? Like a fire?
No, it's like
lava
a fire.
like a fire
burst?
A fire.
It was
So in the notes they call it, I think, a fire mountain.
A fire mountain.
Well,
Which is,
we're gonna
that's
go
like
with
from
that.
Elden Ring.
Okay.
Yeah, but the color is, and they found it, all over the place.
Yeah, the color is based on the elements that are present.
The elements that are present.
So they found like orange, and there's been like on another mission that explains like these green
dark
beads, and then there was like some dark ones, and it's all because of these fire spout. I think they're like fire spouts. Like
we'll just call it that.
I don't know.
Fire geysers.
Fire geysers. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a tumultuous place when the moon was forming after Theia crashed into the Earth and formed together. There was a lot of fucking
Which we know
activity
now,
happening.
but back then we had just had the theory of maybe this is what happened. We weren't quite sure.
Yeah,
and
it
so
it took going to the moon.
we ought
to
to
get
talk
the
about that
samples.
later because it's great.
Actually, we're going to talk about that literally right now because
Okay.
one of the big discoveries that Apollo 17 found that really cemented the theory of the giant impact hypothesis was troglodyte 76535. And so this is, again, from NASA notes. Quote, troglodyte 76535 is without a doubt the most interesting sample return from the moon. So this was a rock they brought back from the moon.
Yeah.
But it was fascinating because after a significant experience, it was found that it likely formed about 47 kilometers beneath the surface of the moon. And through certain calculations called thermochronological calculations.
Wow.
You did really good with that.
That's fun.
right.
Thermochronological. All right.
So I'm assuming, judging by the root words there, is that it can look at the rock and see when it was formed through the heat, but that helped provide evidence of a core dynamo, which means a metallic core, just like the Earth has, that can produce a magnetic field. And which showed that, hey, the moon's core is kind of made of the same stuff as the Earth.
Ooh,
We're kind of the same thing going on here. How could that happen? Maybe through a giant impact.
yeah, because they found through the moon samples, that similar stuff as the Earth, but then also things that were different. So it was like, well, okay, not everything came from the Earth, but some stuff did come from the Earth. So then there had to have been some kind of collision to then create this mixture of material into this object.
Yeah. And if you look at this rock, which you can find by Googling troglodyte 76535, it doesn't look like your typical lunar regolith rock. Like, typically, you look at the rock on the moon, it looks like something from the moon. It's kind of has the same color of the moon. Oh, Liz has got it.
There you go.
There you go. That's what it looks like.
All right,
Yeah,
slowly
it doesn't look
bring
like
it
your
back.
typical.
Slowly. How slow?
Doesn't look like your typical.
Well, we
Yeah.
want to be in focus when you get
Yeah.
back.
All right. We're in focus.
Yep.
Love it. Yeah, so it looks odd and different. So through the calculations, they figured out, well, likely it's formed from the core, same thing as us, and that gave more evidence to the idea of the giant impact hypothesis.
Which also, to go along with that, is that the moon, given its size compared to the Earth, it's too large of an object for the Earth to have just been able to capture it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it didn't come by and the Earth was like, hey, we're friends now.
Stockholm
it's too
syndrome.
All right. Yeah, but do you know what's crazy about this story, though? Is Jack Schmidt, he does not believe in the impact theory.
big. How? He's the
Yeah.
geologist.
He doesn't believe in a lot of things, though.
Climate change?
No,
Is he the climate
does
change
not
one?
believe in that.
Is he the climate change denier?
Yeah.
No.
And
Oh, is he? All right.
yeah,
Okay,
and the
anyway.
alien guy.
Aliens? Aliens? Okay.
Apollo 17. No, he completely, he thinks that it formed with, I think he believes that it formed with the Earth. And that would explain some of the things that he was seeing, but it's... And
To be fair, he saw it.
He did see it, and he actually uses that argument.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I was there as part of his proof.
I was there at Gandalf.
But he,
Yeah,
but he wasn't there when it happened. Screenshot or it didn't happen. I don't know, but the giant impact theory is way more fun than it just like, oh, let's form together.
Well, yeah, I mean, because planets running into planets, and
But I mean,
but we've talked about that in the past, so people watch previous. I don't know which one. Watch a previous episode.
So now because we don't have a Star Trek rule, we're going to talk about the voyage home. That was well done.
Nice. You know what? No, we're gonna drink to that because that was.
It's such a strong drink.
You chose to make that drink, so this is your.
It's my favorite drink.
Is it your
I
coffin?
don't know if this is a Liz drink. I think Mike would love this. Liz might. I'm not sure, but I love it.
Well,
it's got scotch in it.
Well, it's got scotch. I like the only one. The only.
Hangover, guys.
Okay.
Hangover,
right.
Because we got to get home.
Thank you for moderating. We gotta get home. We gotta get off the moon. We gotta get back to Earth.
Okay.
How do we do that?
How do we do that?
Well, you fire some rockets. You gotta leave the moon. All right. Okay. So they blast off the surface of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
December 14th.
How much regolith does it kick up?
A lot, significant amounts.
Okay.
Which is why hangover material. But when we eventually have bases, whatever you want to call them, on the moon, you put them a distance away from the launch pad because that stuff flies out and it's fast.
Yeah,
and it's
regolith's a big issue on long-term moon missions or moon stays, moon vacays.
All right, so Schmidt and Cernan, they're leaving their vacay on the moon because they got to actually have one.
Wasn't there something funny that happened? Okay, I'm sorry.
So they blast off the surface, and a couple hours later they meet up with the command service module.
Which, to my mom's question, how do they synchronize the orbit? So they have a certain time frame that they have to meet, that they have to like leave the moon by because of how the command module in its orbit and when it's gonna. So they have like a deadline basically.
It's similar to sending people to the International Space Station now. There's a window we have to meet, or we just wait until a couple weeks until it's ready.
Yeah. Or like sending rovers to Mars. Like, you have to launch at a certain time, otherwise you miss this window, and then you got to wait like 6 more months.
And you can thank Newton for all that.
Thanks, Isaac.
So
thanks for playing.
Well, he created gravity.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it blasts off. They meet up with the command service module. They're able to synchronize this thing because of Newton, and then they fire their engine again because of Newton, a certain length of time at a certain point in time, and it sends them home. And on the way home, Cernan gets out, does a little bit of an hour kind of walkabout.
Just gets out? Like, I'm going to just step outside real fast.
There were a couple of spacewalks on the mission. So, this was, I think, number 4 overall.
Yeah, so he gets out of the spacecraft.
You just need some air.
It's like about 180,000 miles from home, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so gets out to retrieve film canisters, because those are important.
Oh.
Excellent. So he does that, and it was actually the third most distant EVA in NASA history, and all of these long ones are the Apollo missions.
Yeah.
Because
we haven't sent anyone further since.
He wasn't the first one to get out. There were others that got out to get the canisters as well on their.
Why do they keep forgetting the canisters?
It was just where they were located. Oh, damn it! We left the canisters. We left them damn canisters out on the limb on the ascent module. We gotta go get it. That's actually funny. Speaking of the ascent module, they actually jettisoned it. They moved everything out and put it in the command service module. It's like 250 pounds worth of moon rocks. And then they jettisoned the ascent. The lunar module, and it actually, the ascent stage, and it actually impacted something like less than 10 miles away from the actual Apollo 17 landing site. And
that's impressive.
Yeah, impressive.
Most impressive.
Anyway.
Can you hear the bells, by the way, going off in the background?
No.
Nope. Anyway.
It's like a turtle in Elden Ring.
The No, we're gonna have to make that a ring.
Turtles.
A drink.
It's the walking...
Drink rule.
Anyway.
Anyway, the seismograph that they had put on the surface actually registered the impact.
Ah, that's fun.
So, yep. And then,
And
go ahead.
just to jump off that as well. When Apollo 17 landed America on the moon, all the other Apollo landing sites, they recorded seismograph activity as well.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
When did the tardigrades get there?
Brandon, hold on. So, Apollo 17. So they're heading home, and you need to go from we'll say 17,000 miles an hour down to just a nice little boom into the ocean.
Comfortable zero.
Comfortable
yes.
0 miles
Comfortable
per hour.
zero. And so they started that process, and it involves a heat shield to slow you down due to friction.
CPS.
And then you have the parachutes that help you out the rest of the way. And they touched down in the Pacific about 4 miles from their ride home. So the ride had to come get them.
Uh-huh.
Yep. There you go. And it was the USS
Ticonderoga?
Yes, that one. That's the ship.
We can confirm that with my newspaper.
So a helicopter goes, picks them up, and then puts them on aircraft carrier. And they come
They
home.
did not get the ticker tape parade like Neil and Buzz and Michael.
Oh.
Yep.
How long did we use ticker tape for?
Oh man.
Anyway.
Do they still do it for when the
No,
Yankees
they don't. They
won
don't
the
do-
World Series?
No, they don't anymore because ticker tape's no longer used. So they just have a regular parade.
Oh, is
But-
that stuff that would? Hang
Yeah,
on,
the stuff that's
slow
flying out of
hangover.
the buildings, that's a ticker tape. So it's actually called a ticker tape parade
No,
because using
no.
ticker tape throughout the buildings.
Okay, yeah. So the ticker tape. What I was gonna say is that the one where, in the old timey movies, they would see the news printed out on it, or maybe stock shit that was printed out on it. So it's really skinny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
streamers.
And
But
it's like dot matrix. Just those
That's
printers.
exactly what I think about. Actually, it's like a dot matrix, tabs being thrown out the window.
All right. Anyway, they get home.
They get home.
No parade.
Oh.
Yeah.
No parade.
No parade for
And-
the last mission. Does the public know that this is the last Apollo mission?
Yeah, the public doesn't really care at this point,
Right,
unless you
Vietnam's
like us that
happening.
care about this. Vietnam's happening. Nixon
Right.
stuff's going on. No one
Hippies
really
are getting
cares.
shot. Shit's happening.
Whitey's on the moon. Yeah,
Yeah.
that whole scenario.
All right.
But then also, at the same point, NASA's slowly gearing up for the space shuttle as well. So everyone's trying to shift gears here, saying we're going to cost less money and do more things, which no, and also not really.
Jack says you can still buy it, but receipt tape is cheaper.
Yeah, receipt tape parade doesn't have the same
No,
zing to it.
ticker tape.
Hangover.
Because it's a
Hangover.
Alliteration.
That's the word.
Gotta have
Hangover.
the alliteration.
Hangover.
Hangover, folks. So what happened after Apollo 17? Well, good question, Mike. So Gene Cernan, the commander, retired from NASA and the Navy in '76 and went into private business, where he became a what do I want to call this? We'll leave that there. And a good guy, and he died in 2017. There was a fabulous documentary called The Last Man, which kind of documents the idea behind being the last person to walk on the moon and whether or not he actually was, or whether Jack had the last step on the moon as well. So it's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say who had
so
the
just
actual
check that
last. Who actually took their foot off first.
Yeah. They go back and forth between that. Like, no, it was actually me, Gene. No, it was me, Jack. So, whatever.
So, all right.
It was more than likely Gene Cernan. 'cause he was
Check the film
commander,
canisters.
And that's the purpose of the commanders, be the first off and last on. That's what they do.
Right.
Um,
Down with the ship.
and then, the command
Up with the
module pilot Evans retired from the Navy in '76 and NASA in '77. Of course, after he went on to the Apollo Soyuz and the shuttle missions, he went into the public service and then died in '90.
Oh, okay. Before you were born.
which is also
No, you were born 90. Just kidding.
I was, but we don't have many Apollo astronauts left.
Who's still alive?
Schmidt.
Buzz, Schmidt,
Schmidt's still alive.
Young's
I
gone.
don't know any of the other ones.
Bean's gone. I think we have maybe 4, 5. There's not many at all.
How many? Are there more Apollo astronauts alive to OG Star Trek actors?
Oh.
Because you got just Shatner and Sulu.
You have Shatner
and Takei.
and maybe Chekhov. I don't.
We are unsure about Chekhov.
Okay, so we
Can
have
somebody
more
check
Apollo
on Chekhov?
astronauts.
We have more Apollo.
We have more. Somebody check on Chekhov. No, we have at this point more moonwalkers than Star Trek actors left.
Wow. That's interesting.
Which, I mean, Buzz is a frail old man.
Buzz,
appreciate him while you can.
He's feisty. His feistiness is keeping him going.
He punched a dude.
Well, that was 15 years ago when he punched the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he's still pretty feisty.
And I'm sure that guy was like, I'm gonna sue Buzz, and all his lawyers.
Like,
there were like 100 of them.
Sue one of the first men on the moon.
He's a national treasure.
Yeah.
he gets carte blanche to fucking.
But still appreciate Buzz while we have him, and still appreciate him when he does eventually pass in the next 25 years, because he's going to live forever. But still do it now as well.
My mom asked, do we know how much radiation they were exposed to on the moon?
So they tried to. I think it actually didn't matter. I don't recall off the top of my head, but they tried to reduce it as much as possible. Obviously, the solar cycles didn't much matter because that's in the realm of 12 plus years. So you just had to launch when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall off the top of my head.
Jack says Walter Koenig is still alive.
That's his name.
Thank God. That's what matters.
All right, so we got 3. Yeah, 3. All right, what happened to Schmidt? What did he do?
Schmitty, well, he retired in 75, and then later on, he actually was able to perform his most proud act in life by meeting Mike and Liz in the planetarium.
Yes, at the Western Alliance Conference in 2015 in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
I didn't even see that in the notes.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
That was, yeah.
Yep.
But there's a photo
And after
of
that,
us.
it was all downhill. And as a geologist, he appreciated going downhill.
But not climate change.
But he actually became a 6-year senator from New Mexico in 1976.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's cool.
Hey, one-termer. I don't know if that was by choice or he got voted out, but probably by choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool meeting him.
I bet. That's really cool.
It's not like a lot of people can say that they've actually met somebody who walked on the moon.
And shook
A
his hand.
moonwalker? No.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
That's cool.
That was a fun conference, Jack. I don't...
So, any closing thoughts about Apollo 17 before we go to the hangover?
That it's sad that it's still the last time that humans have walked on the moon was.
Yeah, I think.
But I also want to point out that as we say this, we currently have the Orion space capsule almost on its way back from the moon to Earth.
That is the Artemis 1, guys.
Yeah, the Artemis 1.
Artemis 1.
Yes. So, I mean,
it took us a very long time.
Yeah,
and it should not have been that long.
And, I think was it 2025 is when they want to have somebody in.
Hope remains.
Hope.
LOL.
Oh, my gosh.
2020.
When the fellowship was true.
I said hope remains. I'm out of.
Outside. Somebody's smoking something outside.
Weed?
It's not meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just hope we do get back to the moon, and that, I mean, clearly some good shit came from Apollo 17, like confirming, really kind of pretty much confirming the moon impact hypothesis.
And confirming the usage of duct tape.
And duct tape, it proves duct tape, yeah. Because
of course duct tape works in the vacuum.
Yes.
Indy weird. Anyway. I guess with that thought, thank y'all for joining us. We love the Apollo missions, making the brisket, absolutely, Jack.
I have a question, I'll save it for the hangover.
No. pose the question now, and
For
then
the
we'll
Hangover.
answer the Hangover.
Why is it called the Apollo missions when Apollo was the god of the sun in Greek mythology?
Good question.
Oh,
I
that's
can
a
answer
that's
that
a really good
in a few
question.
minutes.
All right.
All right, well, we'll
What-
get back to that in the Hangover.
Yeah, hold on.
Whoa.
Brandon, when's our next podcast?
Oh, the next podcast is we'll stream it. Was it next week? Week
Yes.
after that. Week
It's
after
gonna
that.
be the
High
nope.
December
sky.
11th.
Yes.
Well, we have a High in the Sky episode.
Yes, and then we're going to take a little break for Christmas,
Oh.
and then we'll come back on January 1st, where we look back at 2022.
And is it almost odd that at this point I can say the astronomy in the review is one of my favorite episodes to do each year? Like we've done a couple of these by now.
No, because I
and
mean,
they're
there's a lot of fun.
fun.
I mean, it's fun to talk about what's been going on and what's happened. I mean, we're gonna spend a lot of time talking about James Webb, I assume. And I just made the new image of the Pillars of Creation my desktop background because it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
On that note, close us out, Brandon.
Thank you for joining us, folks. Again, give us a follow on Twitter, Drinking Cosmos, Instagram, Cosmos with Cosmos. Live long and prosper. Stay safe. Hope to see you next week.
Cheers.
Have a good time.
Bye, everyone. If you're with us now, stick around for the Hangover. We'll be right back.
After
for Mike.
Are we back on?
But also for Mike.
We are back on.
We're back
back
on.
All right. So we were just enamored with the idea of tiny spacesuits for mice. Thanks
you,
to Jack on YouTube there.
To answer Mom's question, yes, they had 4 mice on that flight.
And would these tiny mice have would they have bow ties? Would they have just regular ties?
Do they have like a little spacesuit helmet, like a little bubble helmet around them?
Well, no, because they're going to be inside they'll be inside the capsule, so they won't have like a spacesuit.
Okay, but imagine little mice with a little bubble helmet and like their.
That's not what John Lennon wanted us to do. Imagine all the tiny mice
I think
living in a
imagine
space
all
capsule.
The tiny mice.
Oh God! Now I'm gonna have this song on loop in
Imagine
my head.
all the tiny mice.
Mice living in a bowl in space.
Let's do a punk version of that song. That's a great song. One of the greatest songs of all time, guys.
It would be the same, but you just like screamed.
Nah, that's great.
The mice did tiny EVAs, like a little mice, a little mouse, like Rover, moon buggy.
All right, so
Yeah.
there's the movie. There's 2 movies. The Rescuers.
Yeah,
I want the Rescuers in space now.
Or Five goes
with
to
Ava
space.
Gabor. Oh my God.
Five goes to the moon.
So when I was a little kid,
Hollywood, get to us.
when I was a little kid, I would get Disney books. They would send me these books every month, and of course, I was forced to read them. I enjoyed reading it, but I'm like a really little kid, and oh man, we got retracted messages in the chat. That's just weird. What did you say, Federico? But anyway, one of them was The Rescuers. It was like one of my most favorite books. So,
Oh my God, that's a book.
yeah, well,
It's
it
been
was
so long.
it was a little.
Did you have like
Disney
the
book.
gold, what is it? Like
Oh
the
yeah,
gold,
the gold bindings.
the gold binding books.
Yeah.
Oh, I had those books too.
Mm.
I think that any kind of book club, my mom was like, "I'm signing his ass up." And
What about I think my grandparents had a subscription for me for oh God, what are they called? And they had like little activities hidden
oh, I think I know what you're talking
you know what I'm
about.
talking
Highlights?
about?
Highlights.
Highlights.
Yes,
Yes.
Golden Books,
Golden
Disney
Books.
books, highlights.
Highlights.
Federico's like, what's
God,
going
that
on
takes
in
me
the
back.
U.S.?
What happened? We were okay. We
right,
detract. Anyway.
So at this point, myself or Mike are no longer the host for this episode because it's the Hangover. So what are we talking about with Hangover here? What are we doing? We had many tangents we can continue upon.
Well, what was the
Or we can
question
go
that we left the episode with?
Oh yeah, why was it called Apollo program?
Yeah. When
the
Apollo
easy
is
answer?
the sun god.
What came before the Apollo program? What mission was it?
It was Gemini missions.
No, yeah, right, it was
Mercury?
Gemini. Before Gemini, I
Mercury?
apologize. It was
Mercury.
Mercury. So is this an extension of Mercury?
Because
Apollo.
well, no, because Mercury is the Roman version of Hermes, the messenger god.
But also the planet Mercury. And what's the bigger thing next to Mercury? The sun. And who's this god, the sun?
Oh, Apollo. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a stretch, but all right. I mean, they could have done a moon god. Who was the?
But
Let's see.
Okay.
All right,
hold on.
wait. In July, wait. Go ahead, Mike, and then I'll continue on with the proper wording.
I mean, by that logic, you could, because I think in the original episode, like almost 2 drinks into this, it was, why didn't they name it after the goddess of the moon or whatever? And so by the logic of Mercury is the first planet. You lose it with Gemini, but it's the second planet. And then you could say the third planet is Earth, so god or goddess of the moon. Why didn't we name it after that?
Yeah.
Or the Earthican project.
Earthican.
Anyway, the Earthican, yes.
Oh,
not
okay,
Earthlings,
yeah.
Earthican.
Selene, Diana, Luna. That's
I
right.
love the name Selene, by the way. All right, so here's from NASA history. In July 1960, NASA was preparing to implement its long-range plan beyond Project Mercury and to introduce a manned circumlunar mission project, then unnamed, at the NASA yada 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 yada. Abe Silverstein, director of spaceflight development, proposed the name Apollo because it was the name of a god in ancient Greek mythology with attractive connotations and a precedent for naming manned spaceflight projects for mythological gods and heroes that have been set with Mercury. So that was really it.
All
Somebody
right,
said,
so just
Apollo
name it after
sounds
a
cool.
fucking hot god.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, to be
Alright.
fair, can you take a wild guess what my first dog was named?
Apollo.
Apollo. I love
I
Apollo.
was gonna say Gemini.
Then you'd have to have twin dogs.
It's a good point. A little Jack and Leia situation. Just different sizes.
What? They're fraternal
personalities.
twins.
Fraternal
that's what it
twins,
is.
yeah.
Because one's much
Except
taller.
Castor and Pollux were both boys, so.
Yeah, so basically, how we got the name Apollo, some dude was like, what about
Apollo.
Apollo? And everyone else was like, that
Cool.
sounds
All
great.
right.
Sure.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else we got?
Well, you know what? There is a goddess mission, Juno, which is Jupiter's wife,
And Artemis.
and Artemis. Okay, Juno's the Roman version of Hera, for Jupiter and Zeus being the Roman Greek counterparts to each other. But Artemis is Greek.
Yep.
Greek goddess of the hunt.
I mean, but honestly, it's all Greek to me.
Oh.
All right. That's a Liz joke.
I regret nothing.
You should
All
never
right,
regret
I
it.
think I know the answer to this. But would you be, I think it's Artemis 3, whatever it is, the Artemis mission that's going to take the astronauts to the moon,
Okay.
where they land on the moon,
Uh-huh.
in 2025.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Ish.
if we're lucky. Would you be on that mission realizing that one of the three of us has a much better shot than the other two of us?
Does that mean two of us will die and the other one will land?
Nope.
Because I'll take that. I
No,
am willing to
because all right,
sacrifice you.
there's gonna be three people on the mission, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, an African American and a woman are, NASA is exactly, at least two people that are gonna land.
Okay, yeah. So they're I appreciate the diversity that they're going for. I would 100% go.
Oh yeah.
I have the eyesight.
Oh,
I don't have any of the training or technical or educational background. Okay.
One time you put this back up, I can't see now.
You know what?
That's all I have going for me is the
I
eyesight.
can read the chat. I got 20/20 vision. I
You
have.
got your contacts in?
Just don't
Yeah.
go beyond 10 yards of me, and we're fine. But
I got the eyesight and the hearing. Unless it's really low
so
sounds.
would I go? I mean, I think anyone that's listening to this podcast would absolutely go, whether or not they land on the moon. They did what Evans did and become the service module commander.
I want to land
You
on
have
the
the
motherfucking
opportunity.
moon.
Okay, all right. I know your answer, Brandon. If you were in the Apollo missions, would you land, or would you Michael Collins it? Oh,
okay.
Is Collins still alive?
No, he passed away.
Okay.
He also liked one of my tweets years ago, and it was like a highlight of my life.
Yeah, NASA liked one of my tweets once, and I was like, oh.
Oh, very cool.
You know what? I
Very
actually did
cool.
have Collins like one of mine, and it's like meeting Schmidt.
Yeah. We
Did
also
he
had Patton
reply?
Oswalt
Yeah.
like one of our tweets.
I can't-
That's true. That was really cool.
Like cool.
But anyway,
Anyway.
would I?
I mean,
So,
I want to land.
Of course, I would rather walk on the moon, but it feels like
You wouldn't
I
turn
guess
it down if you
my
had to.
bed skill sets and personality would be go to pull a Collins and be the guy around the moon.
I wouldn't
I
turn
I
it
feel that's
down.
more stupid
Well, I mean,
because the idea of being the lonesome soul further away from the earth than anyone's ever been, that just appeals to me.
Okay.
Especially because
I see that.
if you're walking on the moon, you consistently have NASA. You have the other person in your ear. Whereas if you're Michael Collins, you have, 90 minutes beyond the other side of the moon of no communication, and all you have is the hum of electronics like you're on the bridge of the Enterprise.
Sounds nice.
That's the fucking dream.
That sounds real nice, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't turn it if they were like, "Oh, but you have to stay on the boat." I'd be like, "Ah, that's fine." I mean, I'm still
Yeah,
going
it's
to the
fine.
moon. I'm still going to space.
Yeah.
Like. Cool.
Yeah, I just think that there is just something about No, what did you say?
Jack said if he got stuck up in the service module, he would spend the time rotating everything in the module 90 degrees and see if they know.
That is the best thing ever.
Yes.
We gotta take a drink to
I
that.
love
That's
that.
good.
Well, yes.
I
I will take a drink to that, Jack. Yeah,
I
that,
will
that
take
would be
it.
fun.
I will take the drink
100%
back.
play a prank for when they come back.
We would take like the Halloween spider webs and drape them along the service module,
Everywhere.
so when they come back, they have to like fight through it like a Shelob.
hide like a skeleton somewhere in the storage, and then put that up. So the first thing
and
they
you
see
hide
when they
away
come
like
in
a-
is just like the skeleton,
Yeah.
and then you're like,
That's the
ha
first thing
And
they see.
if it's the ISS, you like hide it. You hide yourself in the bathroom and just put the skeleton out somewhere. Oh, it's fabulous. Why? Okay, why has no one done this?
Why has nobody done this?
I have some calls to make.
That would be great. Like the next people that go up to the ISS, and like the last crew had left like just
It's just like
cobwebs and
4
a
skeletons.
skeleton. And they enter and
Oh,
it's just
fabulous.
But that's some like at least some next level coordination though, because you have to go like, hey NASA, we want to play this
no,
joke.
no, you don't.
No,
tell
no, no.
them.
So crew members get their own personal items, and so they can take up skeletons, no problem. I mean, it doesn't weigh much. It's plastic,
Well,
hollow
no, but it's
skeletons.
pretty
Doesn't
big.
weigh
It's
anything.
pretty big, right? I guess you
Oh,
can take
you-
it apart.
yeah, one that can disassemble,
Well, okay,
and then you put it
so,
together.
Mark Kelly had the idea of being in the box, and then he burst out of the box. But the catch was he was wearing a gorilla costume, so he was in this tiny box, burst out of it in this gorilla costume, and just flung himself around the ISS. So there was cool ideas.
That's great.
Let me ask you this:
I like
let's say
this
you have,
costume. Yes,
Yeah.
Mom.
let's say you have a week on the ISS,
Mhm.
and you have one movie night, and you get to choose one movie to watch.
Just one.
What movie? Just one.
Aliens.
Jesus.
It's aliens. 100%.
What movie do you choose?
It's
Okay, so Liz
Aliens.
chooses Aliens.
Oh, but do
You
I go
have
to
the-
the first
you
or do I
got
go
Space
aliens?
Odyssey. You have Star
Well,
Wars.
okay, all right. So
Oh.
if we're going together, you could do Alien. I could do Aliens, and just freak everybody
You know
out.
what? I think it would have to be Alien just because being the first, then it's like, no, in space, no one can hear you scream. And that's just, well, shit, we're in space.
Yeah.
I,
I
that's
I
difficult.
think for me, and
Gravity?
why would you say that?
yeah, no.
Gravity before a spacewalk the next day.
There you go.
I might have to go with that. No, I was gonna say Fellowship of the Ring because that's when the Fellowship
Yeah.
forms. Actually, it's also when they break, but yeah, Fellowship.
But
I'm
can you
going with that.
imagine watching Fellowship in space though? That'd be so cool.
That'd be cool.
It really would
I-
be.
Watching anything in space would be cool, but to
Yeah.
have that impactful of a movie,
You know what? I would actually say technically this is all one movie. They would finish like a shooting. Well, we'll just call that shooting Fellowship, and then like a week later they
Right.
go right into.
So they're going to spend
Two Towers,
14
we'll say,
hours
that
on,
scene.
12 hours on the
Yeah,
ISS
so
just
I'm gonna
watching
say
the-
this is really 12 hours
I'd spend that money.
because the whole story is told over these three.
Uh-huh.
Well, we'll just call them movies,
Uh-huh.
but
yeah,
you know.
and you can watch Lord of the Rings on your personal time. Like you have 8 hours of sleep. You don't need 5. You're in space. What are you gonna do? You'll be fine.
Oh.
You can watch 3 hours a night of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Jack says his movie would be something crazy camp like Elvira, and they said drop the ring into Mount Doom from orbit.
Oh, you know what'd be
Which-
really fun?
Wait, question.
Jason in space.
What?
Jason in space. Friday the 13th
No,
in
this is
space.
that was a terrible movie.
Yeah. But you're in space.
Mike, you go first, and I'll follow up.
No, I was gonna say throwing the ring in Mount Doom. Wouldn't it be like really cool to take up? This is so stupid. But like just a shit ton of baseballs and just rig this little baseball shooter out and like you try to shoot baseballs
Of the
into the
Earth?
volcanoes.
Oh.
And then you have like one guy in EVA like 5 miles away with a jetpack on to try to hit them.
They played golf on the moon. They hit golf
Yeah,
balls
I
on
know,
the moon.
right?
So let's do baseballs in space.
But with baseballs in
Space
space
balls. Space balls.
is the only type of pitch you'll have is a fastball. That's it.
Because of inertia.
Well, it's because everything else is going to rely. No, go ahead.
Hold up.
Go ahead.
I'm going to take us on a tangent. So finish your thought.
Oh, a
I got
knuckleball.
excited.
No, a knuckleball. A fast pitch and a knuckleball. Those are the two. Because knuckleball, you push the ball out.
Yeah, Oh my goodness.
like
this is the other side of my
curveballs
brain
and
working with
sliders
knuckleballs.
all have to do with like a rotation
Spin.
playing off the air.
But
So the spin
knuckleballs
playing
have
off
no
the air.
spin, so it kind of fluctuates around like a Tim Wakefield, if you will. But we're going to get back into space, because if we want to talk about knuckleballs, I can.
No.
Okay. So we talked about throwing the One Ring into a lava from orbit. But in order to get into the lava from orbit, you need to re-entry through the atmosphere. So the temperature of lava is 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit, which can melt the One Ring. The temperature of re-entry, 2,600 degrees. So do you even need to aim for lava? Or will the ring burn up in the re-entry?
I
the
think
One
specifically
Ring
have to
only
burn up
burns up in Mount Doom.
in the Mount Doom
Yeah.
itself?
That's the only
The
place.
One Ring only can burn
Okay.
up in Mount Doom. The fires that forged it.
Where did
I had to bring it up.
Did you not read the books, or did you not watch the movies?
Oh, bitch! Did I read the book?
It is completely addressed in that. No, it's got to be. And no, so yeah, so.
Wait, where's Mount Doom? Isn't there what solar system body has Mount Doom? Titan?
Titan.
Oh.
Titan. 100% Titan.
There we go. We got to go to
But
Titan.
technically, it was an origin story for England, so technically it's on the Earth. Because in Tolkien's early drafts, the idea was to have Middle Earth be an origin story for England. So he was trying to think early on.
There are no volcanoes
Bear
in
with me.
England.
Bear with me. Tolkien was trying to figure out how to bridge that gap between Middle Earth and the modern day world, but he gave it up in the early drafts. So the idea was yes.
Okay. I mean, what's the closest thing to Mount Doom? Mauna Kea.
Titan.
Yeah, right now it's Mauna Loa.
Mauna Loa.
It's
Well, at least that's the one that's in the news. So. Yeah.
What would be? What's the equivalent? What volcano would be the equivalent to Mount Doom on Earth?
Well, it depends on who you ask.
any volcanoes in Russia?
No.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Vesuvius.
Mm,
You know.
Ooh.
that's
Well,
a good one. What would be the most destructive volcano?
oh, wait, no. What was it? It was a volcano in like 1849,
Oh, is it
1840s. Krakatoa. Thank you, Mike. Krakatoa is 100% Mount Doom because it destroys civilizations and it disrupts the ecology of the rest of the world. And
Okay.
I think Krakatoa is the one.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta aim your little ring
and it's got a fun
thrower.
name. Krakatoa. Where's
Yeah.
Krakatoa?
Krakatoa.
Where's Krakatoa located?
In
Pacific
South-
somewhere, I assume.
South Pacific.
Okay.
But
The Ring of Fire.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like, all right, but just to be sure, because some shit might get down if you're shooting it from ISS. You wanna time your shot so that it goes into. Wait a minute, does this need to be an active volcano?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Well, there needs to be lava near the top. So
Yeah,
like
you
Right.
Hawaii.
gotta
So-
hit lava.
Throw it towards Hawaii. Hope for the best.
So you aim it towards Mauna Loa, boom, and shoot that ring out.
The-
Just to be sure.
We've got
Okay,
a
You
weird,
don't want Sauron
Welcome to The
finding
Hangover.
some little segment of it and going,
No.
"Hey,
reforged.
I am back,
But, okay.
motherfucker."
Okay, Mike. How fast do you think you could throw a ring? Miles per hour.
Me?
Like with your
Yeah.
hand, just throw
With
it.
my
With your
Alright.
hand, you throw a ring as fast as you can towards the Earth from the space station.
Oh, from the space station? I'll
Yes.
just drop it because that's just fun.
But
No, I guess
then
I
that
would
would
have to
take-
throw it.
that would take a very long time.
I don't know.
So you need some force downwards.
I have not been to the local fair and thrown a baseball to see how fast.
At those
God. Yeah, the last time I did that was with Joe in New York.
oh.
Yeah,
50 miles an
Did
hour.
we take you to like batting cages or something?
we went to Cooperstown, the Baseball Hall of Fame, and we did pitching together.
Oh,
it was
that's
great.
right. That's right.
How
that's
fast
right.
did you do?
Oh god, I was like 62.
He's a young
I have a
man.
noodle for an
We
arm.
need to do like hatchet throwing. That's the new
No,
fad.
oh god. Oh, nope.
Oh,
No.
can we watch Lord of the Rings, then do hatchet throwing?
And my axe.
Oh, god damn it. Do we do the rules in the Hangover?
No,
No.
let's just forget the rules.
No, we don't do the rules. We just decide.
But
to
anyway,
drink what we
depending
do.
how fast you can throw a small trinket of a ring from the ISS, it would impact, the orbital direction of landing in Hawaii. I really wonder if it's even possible to calculate a small object from a space station elevation to Hawaii when you need to release it. I don't know if it's possible. Well, it's so small.
You
And it's a
could-
ring, so it's going to twist and change.
Yeah,
and,
it's going to spin. And so,
Yeah, because the atmosphere is gonna create some funky shit. I would assume.
right. And so what'll happen is you'll have people try to actually do experiments where you drop.
It's like when you're at the theme park and you're not supposed to drop pennies and shit, but people go on the droppy rides and then they drop the pennies and stuff.
Wait. What were they called?
The droppy rides.
I thought the droppy rides.
The droppy rides.
Anyway, so you could get.
That's got it.
All right, so
Oh, put the ring inside a baseball.
yeah.
But what if the Earth was the size of a baseball?
Well, Jupiter and Saturn would be the size of beach balls.
Welcome to the Hangover.
Everybody's like, what the fuck is that reference?
Planetarium show.
It is Planetarium show
Planetarium
at
related.
Arizona
Just
Science
no
Center.
longer in that planetarium.
But anyway,
Pretty sure of that.
yeah, you could
Good.
calculate the best time to actually drop that ring so that you have a shot at hitting Mauna Loa. It doesn't mean it will,
That would be
because there's
wild.
as many experiments as you can do. You can do all these experiments.
What's the melting point of gold
uh,
for a real
I
ring,
don't
not a
1800 degrees? I don't know.
it wouldn't survive coming in the atmosphere. Yeah, and so you can do all these calculations, but you can't actually calculate the chaotic nature
Of
of
the
coming
atmosphere?
in, because you can't say exactly what the atmosphere is like right where that ring is coming
right.
out.
And what if there's like a storm system or a
Exactly.
You know.
I mean, the best you can do is shoot a laser up, but that's going to give you the picture of the atmosphere at that laser location. It's not going to give the entire trajectory of this ring. But you could do a calculation, because they did it with all the capsules that come back into the Earth's atmosphere. And so you could do a calculation that would get you somewhere near Mauna Loa, and you could probably say how big of a
Yeah. I like that my mom said a while ago, but the little tiny thrusters on the ring. Gonna put little
That
tiny
makes me happy.
thrusters on the mice as they come in. Little tiny mice rocket packs,
Oh my god. Now I
with
have
goggles.
a tiny dancer in my head.
and it's like the movie Rocket Man. Is it
That's the
Rocket Man?
soundtrack?
The Disney movie Rocket Man with
Oh
the
yeah,
guy?
yeah.
No,
And
yeah.
little mice that have a little
Who was in Rocket Man?
Jennifer she was in the Hulk movie with Eric
No,
Bana,
she was in
and
Rocket Man?
Labyrinth,
Connolly?
Jennifer
Jennifer
Connolly.
Connelly?
She was in Rocket Man. She was the femme.
Well,
she was the
Clearly, I
lady.
need to watch Rocket Man.
I can't remember the guy's name. But
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's Jennifer Connelly and other people.
yeah. Not Labyrinth. No, she was in Labyrinth. She was in Labyrinth.
She was in Labyrinth,
She was
yeah.
in Labyrinth.
All right.
Anyway.
Oh my god, Jack.
Put the ring on the waist of a mouse and have it ride the baseball with thrusters down.
Oh my god.
Stuart Little's gonna have a wild adventure one day.
Yeah, but little mouse has to be able to jump off, so he's got a little parachute.
No.
A little
Dude's
tiny
done.
supersonic parachute.
No, he's not. That little mouse is not.
You know what? If Smeagol could sacrifice himself for the ring, one tiny mouse called Stuart could do the same.
Or Fievel.
Well, no, Fievel has a parachute. He gets through it.
Fievel always makes it through. I don't know the mice names from the rescue.
What do they call this? Give me a second. Give me a second. I guess just Fievel re-enters the atmosphere.
Fievel goes down.
Well, no, that's not what we want to do.
Handkerchief.
Oh my god. All right, so
I remember making those little parachutes. Like, and so like my mom would buy these like napkins, and they're all like, you know, these pastel colors, like pink and blue and everything else. And then it's like a little 4-year-old, like, I don't want the yellow one. I want the blue one. I want the blue one today.
Oh.
And so I remember making those little parachutes though, and like putting them on my army men.
Yes, Jack. One of the rescuers was voiced by Ava Gabor.
I made that reference earlier.
Did
no
you?
one heard me.
Oh.
Somebody did. No,
you?
I heard you.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Because Ava Gabor is also the name of my aunt's teacup pig.
Okay.
Your aunt has a teacup pig?
And she has a lot of animals. One of them is called Ava Gabor.
Oh my god. Was she also Ava Gabor? She was in Green Gables, or not Green? Yeah,
Green
Acres. Green Acres.
Yeah, that's the one.
Green Acres.
Yeah.
Green Gables is
Okay,
from.
so I'm gonna
Gables.
ask the chat and everyone else this. Any questions about Apollo 17?
How many pounds of rock they bring back?
250.
Like 6.
You said 250 during the podcast.
Damn
You
it!
did. Yeah, you said the amounts.
You guys weren't listening, clearly.
That's a lot of moon rock. But how much of that has been stolen?
All
Like
of
6?
it. Every bit of it stolen.
How much?
So
how much is
got
250
more,
pounds of moon rock
wait,
worth?
wait. Let me. I got more information. So I bring this up once in a while about the intern from NASA that stole the moon rocks, put them on the bed and had sex on it. So apparently, what had actually happened is that they were 2 NASA interns, and the guy took a vial of space rock, stole it, and put it underneath the pillow, and then had sex on that. But so it wasn't like a bed sprinkled with moon dust all around you. Which, if you're gonna go to jail and be sued for hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Sprinkle that
just
moon
break
dust.
the vial open and do it on top of the.
Actually, I can think of just the OBGYN nightmare you
Oh.
have to go through to deal with the consequences of.
Wait, regolith isn't that sharp, right?
No, it's supposed
No,
to be
it
sharp.
is.
It's supposed to be really
How
sharp.
sharp is it, Liz?
It's jagged. It's like a jagged little
Pill?
pill.
So, yeah, that's great.
It's a jagged little suppository.
Ironic.
Which I didn't know. We had listened to on the drive home from Oregon yesterday. We had listened to a podcast that covered Apollo 17.
Yeah, but
Okay.
here's what it was. It's like, hey, let's just listen to an Apollo 17 podcast and just do that. That's what
It
it
was broken into 2 parts, and both episodes were 20 minutes long. And I was like, this could be in one episode. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
know,
why
right?
there's 2 parts of 20 minutes. Look at our episodes. But anyway, and I didn't realize that regolith was so. I always thought of it like as similar to Earth dust, but apparently because you don't have the oxidation,
Weathering.
you don't have the weathering, that it's actually like jagged and sharp dust, which I
Yeah.
can't actually
Yeah,
kind
it
of.
causes
I
problems
can't.
in your lungs.
Yeah, I can't really kind of comprehend it, I guess. But yeah, it's not fun. So yeah, keep that vial sealed because
Oh, yeah.
no.
Hey, America, this is Casey Kasem, and keep that vial sealed. That was a
no one
reference.
wants
Maybe
that in
Mike-
their
Maybe Mike
urethra.
gets that.
Casey
This-
Kasem, yeah.
All right. Somebody
His
gets
top 40. Casey Kasem,
You gotta
top
pass.
40.
You gotta pass those regular
Nice.
stones.
Can you imagine though going to the doctor and
urologist?
explaining that?
Yeah. So
Like you
I
go
got
to the ER.
I got some moon dust
And then- There's literally like one doctor in the world that has experience with this.
You're referred to the specialist.
Yeah, I read this paper in the
It's
Journal
completely
of American
experimental.
Medicine, and I saw this doctor. We're gonna just refer you to them.
Jack said Moonrocks and Mar-a-Lago declassified by Mind.
Oh God.
There's a lot to drink about that.
I am out of drinks. So
Well, somebody didn't make a third drink during the interim.
no, but I might make one for the Willow.
For the we're gonna
Willow! I'm
share
excited
with
about that.
everybody where we're gonna
I may-
watch the Willow.
I may watch that too.
The Willow movie and then the new Willow series on
Because
Disney.
I watched the trailer and it sounds like a movie I should love, but somehow I've never seen.
I've never seen the movie Willow. I
Yeah,
know it's like
okay.
a cult classic. It's like
Yeah,
a
I haven't seen it either.
labyrinth-esque like kind of thing with.
I've also never seen Labyrinth.
We watched. Did we watch Labyrinth?
We did.
We watched Labyrinth.
You would know.
Wait a minute, you haven't seen Labyrinth?
I didn't.
No,
Yeah, I was in the same boat.
That was your homework.
because
Labyrinth.
it needs to be. It's like watching Lord of the Rings the first time. It has to be in the right atmosphere, the right situation, the right time of year, which is winter in the snow. Now's the right time.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna watch OG Willow,
Yep.
and then check out the new Willow series.
While eating
And
sweet and sour chicken, I think.
And I'm a fan of Warwick
Ooh,
Davis,
very nice.
so you know.
Of course, who isn't?
Right?
Besides the Empire.
Wow, you know. Jack says he saw the original Willow as a double feature at the drive-in with Masters of the Universe.
That's so cool, Jack.
Um,
Oh my god, that's so cool.
I am She-Ra.
You're what?
I know the Masters of the Universe.
Oh,
is
you're
He-Man,
She-Ra?
but I would be
She-Ra,
in my room
She-Ra.
and I'd be like, I am She-Ra, and I pretend to be She-Ra. I loved She-Ra.
By
so
the
much.
power of Grayskull.
Grayskull. It's too
I
many
don't
muscles.
see that.
On
She-Ra, whenever I watch She-Ra, it would always be early in the morning. And then, after I watched it, I know it was time to go to the beach. So whenever I hear She-Ra's theme, I think I'm about to get a champagne and orange juice and go to the beach.
Nice. Growing up, none of my friends knew She-Ra. Like, I was the only one that knew what She-Ra was. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, She-Ra is the best. And I think because I discovered She-Ra just at our, like, local video store, Video One. And I absolutely felt... Because it's a 70s cartoon. I mean, it's not like... I mean, I was born in 85. So, I mean, yeah, it came out before I was born, but I discovered it.
Was it in the 70s?
I'm pretty
That was like-
sure.
That was
Late
80s,
early 90s.
No, I'm
Okay,
pretty sure
keep
He-Man and
talking, I'll look it up.
She-Ra.
Yep. All right, we're gonna fact check
but
this.
I was excited when I have like the She-Ra, I have like the little on disc and stuff, the movie or whatever I have, and I was excited when somebody was like, "Oh my God, She-Ra," and I was like, "You know She-Ra?" And I was like, "Wow, nobody ever knew She-Ra." None of my friends were like, they were
when
like,
was that?
Huh?
When did that occur?
That occurred when we celebrated, I think, New Year's at our place in Phoenix with Brandon and Laconia. And Laconia knew who She-Ra was. And I was like, oh my God. And
that's
we watched
recent.
She-Ra. And I was like, I can't believe somebody actually knows
I love
She-Ra.
She-Ra.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me the original flippin' deal.
You know, 1985? Oh, okay.
85.
85!
You came in with it.
Okay, I
but
feel
was
better about
I
that.
came in with it. So it was the year I was born. So by the
You
time I
came in
discovered
like
it,
a
it was still, you know,
She-Ra
I wasn't going
ball.
to catch it on.
So you
TV.
came in with She-Ra and you brought just like death everywhere.
Yes.
So all
Every
right,
murder show we watch, it's always somebody that died in like
September.
September, which is my birth month. So I bring
We're like-
death.
Wait, so you came in like a Rolling Stone?
what?
Yeah.
All right. So the way it started was there
Deep
was
difference there.
these we watched all these shows and they all seemed to happen in September of 1985, and it's like holy
I am
shit.
death. I am
And-
bringer of death.
And then we expanded that out a little bit. It was just like now it's just
Anything
anybody
in September.
that gets murdered in September. It's like
Uh-huh.
Liz brought that. She
but,
brought it.
Yeah, You know what? It's interesting.
You open a portal.
I'm gonna make a comment on feminism or femin.
And then I'll make a comment on feminism.
Okay.
And not say a goddamn word.
All right. It took me until I was in my 30s to realize.
It's like a year ago.
Yeah, well, I'm 37 now, but it took me a few years ago, before I realized that because it was like She-Ra, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer with not before the series,
Buffy.
the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Donald
saw it.
Sutherland
Okay.
and
So you went with that first.
Elizabeth.
I've never seen it.
Oh God, I love that movie. I would rent it all the time at Video One, and then the series Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then Xena, Warrior Princess, which I started with
Xena.
Hercules, and
Wait,
then
wait.
Xena came
Liz.
out.
Liz, can you do the Xena yell?
Oh God.
That's my best.
Yes.
I don't have a chakram to. I don't have the chakram to throw.
We just blew out audio.
It's fine. Sorry for everybody's ears. I should have warned that, but.
Apparently that's called
right.
Leia.
It's called a Leia. Leia came up. I didn't realize that I identified with all these strong, like, female, like, independent, like, women until, like, I was in my 30s where I was like, oh, that's why. Because they're women. These are, like, rare, iconic women in media that I gravitated to because they represented, like,
Who
you know,
you are.
who I was as a woman. And I didn't even make that connection that, oh, hey, yeah, you're right, representation does matter.
Representation matters.
Holy
Right?
shit!
Who'd have thunk it?
Where was it?
Who would have thought it?
Where were we when we said that recently? Representation matters.
Oh, it was something. It might have been an LGBTQ thing we watched, or a black.
Yeah, I
thing
don't
we
know.
watched.
Yeah, but representation matters.
Yeah, and I was
completely.
like, I didn't even realize that I gravitated towards these characters because of. I was also a female, and I liked what they were showing, that you could be this.
And
like,
I also
you
want
know,
to point out, if you do the Xena yell again, you'll get a particular dog's notice.
Leia, General Leia.
All right, do it
Organa.
again.
No.
Do it
Nope,
again.
nope.
Do it again. Do it
Jordy.
again.
Geordie. Oh,
Geordie.
it got Geordie's attention.
Do it
Geordie
again.
will. Geordie is.
Do it again. Oh,
That wasn't as good.
that wasn't.
Oh, no, that wasn't the true Xena yell.
Wasn't as
Wait.
good. Wasn't good.
Instead of Liz, Mike, can you do it? If you do it, I'll do it.
I can't do it.
If
can't-
you do it,
can't
I'll do it.
You can't do it.
I can't do it.
Oh, Katie did the Xena yell at the same time, and Poe, her cat, wasn't happy about it. Poe's not happy about a lot of things, though. But yeah, no, Geordie is my parents' Aussie, who they recently got, and we were watching Star Trek. OG and Next Generation when we were there, and anytime like the alert system came on, he was just like going.
Troy.
He was just like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
Geordie LaForge was that attention for that red alert.
You know, Jordy and Leia pay attention to the TV.
Jack does not give a
Jack
shit
and
about the
Asa
TV.
just don't
give a
Winter doesn't care about the TV.
Well- Jack's better, and Leia's Winter's better than TV.
Oh, Winter is definitely better than the TV.
Oh yeah. All right.
What a
so we are in
divergence.
like minute 45 of The Hangover. What else we got to talk about?
Oh,
Liz is taking a drink, so she doesn't have to answer.
I'm making all these loud noises. Yeah, no. My main question was that I want to know is, would you guys get on like the first one to go there?
Oh, to the
Oh,
moon?
instantly.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
people have gone to the moon. Now, Mars. Do
I
I want to
don't
die
care.
on
With
Mars?
the
That's the
entire-
question.
So okay.
With,
I don't
with
care
all of the
if I'm-
dangers
Go ahead.
associated with it.
Xena was one of Katie's first crushes.
With all of the dangers of being the
GF,
first
yes.
mission, you're going to be the first one to ride this limb down. You know, all of this, you're going to be the first one where the ascent stage blasts you off. Sure, you'll be with two of your closest friends ever, but whatever. Would you do it?
To the moon?
Yeah, I mean, because this isn't like you've done it before in the 60s and the 70s, but this is
Yeah, but we operated spaceships. I got more technology in my phone than they did it.
Right,
So I
okay.
trust it a little bit more
Right.
now.
Okay,
But this is
but
2022 at this point.
I would
It's your
like
calendar.
to point you to not too long ago, relatively speaking, with one of the Mars probes that just slammed into Mars because they couldn't figure out meters.
Well,
in the-
okay. I think they've learned their lesson on that shit.
And that was ESA as well. It's a
All
little
right,
different.
so
This is
yes,
NASA,
I would.
so-
Oh, we're
want-
just
I
gonna
would-
blame
I would
ESA
want-
on that.
Yes, I would.
I will do that.
100%.
Federico, what's up? See me.
Oh, by the way, I just want to say to Katie's comment on Xena was one of her first crushes. Aeolus from Hercules. I was a big Aeolus fan, but anyway.
Who was? No, doesn't matter.
It was
We'll do that
Hercules'
later.
sidekick, but anyway. Okay, yes, I would totally go. Now, the question is Mars, because no human has been to Mars yet. Would you be on the first human mission to Mars, where that is a definitely...
Wait a minute. No. This
is a
isn't
test.
a question of whether humans have been on the moon.
Well,
yeah.
no, I would say
But
that
hold on.
we got that tech down to go and to
Why
send
didn't we
people
do this
to
at
the
the
moon.
beginning of the
We
hangout?
don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. It's been 50 fucking years. We
Yeah.
don't have the technology now.
No, we have
Okay,
new
and-
technology, but
right,
it's
what-
not like anybody is it's
Okay.
a knowledge
What-
loss.
Are you
Okay, really
willing
quick,
to go to
like-
the moon and die? Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes when I was working in defense is I was working on the B-52 program, and I asked, these flipping bombers are 50, 60 years old. Why don't we build new ones? And then the person I was talking to said, because we don't know how anymore.
But I feel like we can
Which
figure
goes
it
to
out.
show, because
No,
the
we can
bombers
figure
we're
it
building
out.
are $500 million fucking dollars, because we had to figure it out still. We can't just rebuild the shit. We have to figure it out
But
again.
we got it in museums.
No, we don't know how. We
Just
don't know. We
deconstruct
do.
it.
But the people that built it and engineered it are dead. We do not know how to build it again.
Okay,
Uh,
exhume them, reanimate their bodies, and ask
Which
them
would be
how
ready
they
for
did
building
it.
it again. Yes. Which is the same thing when I was talking to high-up people in the SLS programs. Like, why can't we just build a Saturn V again? Because they said, we don't know how. And it blew my goddamn mind.
No,
This is why things cost so much.
that is definitely
We don't know how.
surprising that we wouldn't keep notes.
I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah, okay, but no, I think the thing is that it's
Well, we're not in the main show anymore, but
yeah, I don't have
all right.
to drink anyway.
Okay, well, for those of you at home and me, take a drink.
Oh, that was such a good drink.
Look, at the end of the day, yeah, I would go. I think I would go. For a one in a chance lifetime to go to the moon or to
So
go
you
to
would
Mars
do the same thing for Mars.
and fucking
Oh,
yeah.
it's the same-
You know what? I would do it because fuck it. Why not? I mean, what else are you living for? Other than your family and friends.
All right, okay.
The next season of Roseanne.
Let me rephrase it.
No,
All right.
definitely not that.
We bring up Mars. I realize it is Apollo 17 and stuff, but would you have been one of those first,
Yeah,
100 or
yes,
something that was
yes.
basically
Yes.
a one-way trip
Yes.
to
Oh,
Mars?
no, because
I-
that was sketchy and that was a bullshit program. But
Oh, no, not that. But in general, if you gave me the option, hey, do you want to go to the moon, the Mars, an asteroid, go into space, and not be promised to come back? Instantly, I would say yes.
yeah, because
But
I
the
mean,
issue for me is that if you spin me around in the circle, I'll be sick. So I would never be selected.
Okay, well, let's pretend like you would.
And then absolutely, I would go in a
I mean,
heartbeat.
I
don't
may have
care
been
if I
able
would
to
die.
handle the testing thing in my 20s. Now I
If
probably
I
would throw up,
died
but-
at launch, if I died in the training, if I died while I was there on re-entry, when I returned, absolutely yes.
Hashtag worth it.
Hashtag
Do
worth
people
it.
still do hashtags, or am I out of
I
date
just
now?
did today's episode, hashtag Apollo 17, and nobody else had it.
No,
so I feel it's
I mean
weird.
speaking
Really?
speaking hashtag,
Yeah, yeah.
speaking hashtag.
Wow.
Oh yeah, no. If you're over a certain age, you say it to
Oh.
mock.
Uh,
I don't know, 20 or I don't know who does.
we-
I
I
don't
don't-
know any.
I don't know. Gen Z
Must
old now,
bastard-
so I don't even know
weird,
what
yeah.
the thing is now. But Yeah, no, I'd go. Because, I mean, it's the fucking, you're going to space.
Yeah.
How amazing is
absolutely.
that?
But yeah, I think I would
You
definitely go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd go.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I send love to my family and friends and hope I return.
And
but...
I say that with one of the absolute greatest fears of my life is being buried alive in a coffin. So basically, being
you want to do that.
Capsule?
I can't.
You would not be buried alive in the capsule. You would burn up in the capsule.
If me, Liz, and Brandon went,
it would be the funnest mission. Oh my god, the shenanigans!
It would absolutely be the
NASA
funniest
would be
mission
so
ever.
Annoyed with us.
And everybody, we would have the, oh god, yeah, we would have the whole world following us. But anyway, but when we get back, I guarantee you, I'm going to like an asylum somewhere because I have lost it.
Go back.
What if we put like some VR on you where you feel like you're on a beach in Hawaii or something?
There we go. Like really big vistas. But I guarantee you, like the podcast would end after that. We'd be like, oh, we don't want to see each other ever again.
Oh, that's like 6 days together. We've done that.
Moon buddies for life.
Mike lost it.
Buddies for life.
Mike went insane on this trip because he was in this little capsule. And, oh, God, it's like being buried alive but buried in space.
We'll bring some sedatives for you.
Yeah, so basically the whole way there, I'm just like out.
We'll bring
or
some
just
psychedelics.
High as a fucking kite.
Shrooms are illegal in places now.
So speaking of sedatives, here we are. The Hangover has lasted as long as the main episode.
The Hangover, end of all things. I was trying to squeeze it in.
I am glad, Liz and Mike, you're with me. Here at the end of all things.
Yeah, you take it.
If I were to reincarnate to go on the Enterprise, I don't have the brains to be in the science, the bronze to be in security, so would I have to be in command? I'd probably be number 2.
All right, Spock.
Oh, okay. You'd be number 2. I was gonna go with Riker.
Okay,
but...
yeah.
No, that's number 2. It's Riker because I'd be really good at making
You gotta do the John Wayne leg lift over every
because
chair.
he's hurt his back doing a move before that. But anyway, I feel in my after Enterprise days, I get really good at making pizzas. So that's what I want.
All right, let's go watch Willow.
Let's go watch Willow, folks.
Jack says Mike needs the Fifth Element sleep regulators.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, Liz, do the thing. Do the fifth element thing. We've done it multiple times. Come on, I'll do it.
Okay.
Multipass.
Multipass. I didn't know if you wanted me to be like chicken good or multipass.
No, it's always multipass with
multipass.
you. Always multipass.
Multipass. Oh God, I love
the
movie
folks,
Fifth Element so much.
Thank you for joining us.
So should we watch that tonight?
Today's episode. Thank you for joining. I'm going to talk over Mike as I do this.
Worth it. It's
again, you can find us on all the things, whether it be Twitter, as long as it lasts, at Drinking Cosmos, Instagram, Cosmos with Cosmos. You can reach out to us individually over Twitters, which you can find, I'm assuming, on our Twitter. Maybe not. I don't know. But you can do it.
Did you just say? At Skiz is on Twitter, at BD Riddle?
You can... I didn't say that. I never said BD Riddle.
Okay. It had a question inflection on your Twitter.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm assuming if you go to the Cosmos or the Cosmos Twitter, Drinking Cosmos, you can eventually find us.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So follow us there. And live long and prosper. Bye. Be safe.
Cheers.
And
we'll see you in a week.
See you on the 11th for High in the Sky.
High in the Sky, December 2022.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for
Deuces.
Peace. We're out. All right, so